The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-A Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for one bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Hello, friends. It's Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe coming to you about 10:30 on Saturday night, January 28th. I said in the last show I wasn't going to be here, but due to a comedy of errors that only a sibling can provide, my brother, who had told me to travel to Kansas City next weekend to see my parents, really meant 2 weekends from when he said. Found that out halfway through Oklahoma, turned around and came back, and now I'm here, and I got to watch the Mavericks lose a kind of scripted game in a sense, to where tuning into the game, the Mavericks, the Jazz were so good on offense, at least, season wide, that it didn't really feel like the Mavericks 25th or 26th ranked defense had much of a chance. And despite some juice from a couple of interesting guys, Dallas didn't have it. And here we are.
Yeah. This game, it's kind of funny. The Mavericks basically played the exact same game they played against the Suns on Thursday. They scored 99 points against the Suns, 100 against the Jazz. Dinwiddie had 36 against the Suns. He had 35 against the Jazz. Role players scored similarly. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 other players in double figures against the Suns. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 other players in double figures against the Jazz. So it was really the same. It was the exact same game. It's just the Jazz are an astronomically better offensive team than the Phoenix Suns are.
Yeah, the rim attack stuff was just evident all night, and
just guys that can do things.
Walker Kessler is such a more effective center for how centers play most of the time compared to DeAndre Ayton. And Ayton's not bad or anything. It's just he commands a significant portion of the salary, and at a certain point you kind of got to feed him. And if he's not, I don't know, that it's just such a different style of basketball. They honestly, what the Jazz do, what their coach has got them doing, is really, really impressive. Because yes, they beat the Mavericks, and yes, they're what are they? They're right at 500 right now after that game. And it's just for a team that sent away their 2 superstars, what they've done this year is so impressive.
Oh yeah, for sure. They basically still kept a lot of their role players from those good Jazz teams. They got rid of, it's pretty clear that Gobert is just a bad vibes monster.
Yeah.
When you look at how Minnesota has struggled this year. And then, Lauri Markkanen turned into an all-star, which is pretty cool for them. They play hard. Again, it's hard to take things away from this game because it just followed the script. The Mavericks were limited without Luka. Spencer did what he could. Some guys chipped in, but the Jazz are,
right.
The Jazz are just different on offense. It's not the way that the Mavericks are playing right now. They cannot really play well against teams that are going well on offense because their defense is so much of a mess right now.
Spencer played really, really, really well again. 3 turnover game in 42 minutes. One of the things that's been a little bit understated, or at least undercovered, is the volume of minutes that Spencer Dinwiddie is playing this year. I mean, I want to go look at his averages just to see where we're at. He is up to 34 minutes a game this season. His career average is 27. That's a significant jump, particularly with the fact that he's missed like 2 games, I think, or 2 games all season. And so, I'm not a Dinwiddie super fan by any stretch of the imagination. He's actually had he's had some rough stretches, but what he did tonight, where it's just like, if he doesn't go ham again, the Mavericks are get blown out.
Right. And I mean, this was a blowout in the first half, and he just had a really, really dominant third quarter. He made a crazy 3-pointer. It was one of those plays where I was like, what the hell are you doing? Where he just kind of invited the trap all the way to the sideline near the coach's box.
Yeah.
And there was like 1 second left on the shot clock. I'm like, why are you dribbling away, inviting a trap while the shot clock's running down? Now you're 40 feet from the basket. And of course he's nothing but net, made a 3. And that was kind of the shot that got the Mavs back. Like they were clearly energized after that. And they kind of tried to turn it into a game after that. I think they got the closest they got it to was 6. So it was never a one-shot game, unfortunately. But, I mean, it was looking like they were going to lose by 25 with the way the first half was going. So the defense perked up a little bit as they made shots in the second half. And the Jazz have the 27th worst defense this season. And I feel like you really saw it in the second half. Like, they couldn't stop Spencer, and so they doubled Spencer. I mean, it really followed like a Luka game. And they doubled him. And, I mean – the 3-point looks the Mavericks were getting in the second half were like shoot around practice looks. Like the Jazz were doubling Spencer, and they had no rotations on the back end. I mean, Reggie got tons of looks and he cashed in. Dorian made made all 3 of his threes in the second half. And Spencer was making his threes. I think he started 6 of 7, so he tailed off because obviously he was out of gas. But the Jazz were letting the Mavs back into that game because they don't have anyone that can guard. Like, they are a fun team, but like Kessler and Vanderbilt are like the only 2 players on the roster that can really guard. Like, think about their backcourt is Clarkson and Conley, and then Sexton comes off the bench, and Beasley. Like, none of those guys defend. So it makes for a pretty entertaining game. I mean, the Jazz made 13 3. I mean, this was combined 31 3-pointers were made in this game. Like, so it was pretty fun to watch. But yeah, the Mavericks just didn't have enough. And it's weird. Like, there's the thing about this game that really sucks is this is one of those games where if the Mavericks had kind of taken care of business up until this point, you look at this game and you're like, like they made a hell of an effort in the second half. You can't get too mad about the loss. No Luka. They played a hell of a game, in a game they should have really gotten blown out in. But they've kind of run out of room for more victories. So that it just sucks. The Mavericks are now 8.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say this loss went them from 6th to 8th. Like, this was a really bad game to lose because the Clippers won, the Timberwolves won, the Suns won, and then, of course, the Jazz win. So
they're 2.5 games out of 3rd and 2.5 games out of 13th.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So
if they would have lost that game against the Suns, which I mean, on paper they should have lost that game after Luka went out. They would be 11th right now. So these games matter. The margins are gone. Like, they have to find ways to win even without Luka. Thankfully, they play Detroit next, so maybe that'll help.
Yep. Oh, brother. I don't really got much else. I mean, I enjoy, like, this was a game where it was interesting to see Josh Green try to do a little more.
He shot a lot.
A lot, which has been a to be quite honest, a valid criticism of him. 1 of 6 from 3, but I like the shots he took. I still think he over rotates the ball a lot, where he just sort of auto passes based off of like a predetermined thing before he even gets the ball. But the shot wasn't falling tonight, so it's really hard to criticize it. I do like his attacks in the rim, though it is so clear it is so clear from his first dribble whether he's going to pass or shoot. Like he doesn't attack the rim in so much as he attacks the interior. And when it's I don't know, for a guy who I think, he got a pair of free throws off of a fast break attempt where he absorbed contact following a 3-on-2. I like what he does, and it's like it's always very odd to hear Harp talk about how he's the most athletic player the Mavericks have and just gush and ooh and awe over it. And I don't want to diminish his athleticism, but that says a lot more about the Mavericks than it does Josh. Like Dallas just hasn't had athletic guys during 20 years that I've watched this team. It's like you get, Sean Marion's second jump ability, Tyson Chandler's, extreme vertical athleticism, which is a lot of fun. But then the closest guys that you get around that are pick and roll centers like Brandon Wright and like Dwight Powell, and to a certain extent, JaVale McGee. But who did they have? Who was Green? The dunk contest guy,
Gerald Green.
Gerald Green. Like they don't have, and granted, athletes are not vertical athletes and stuff like that are not as common as sometimes I like to make them out to be. But it's just, oohing and awing over the fact that Josh Green is willing to make a crazy ass jump pass. It's why we want more athletes. Like I want to see Luka play with athletes. Is that, instead of floor-bound guys that do one or two things. I mean, and again, that's not about Green. It's more about the rest of the team and the roster construction. And apparently, the Utah Jazz commentators called Davis Bertans like one job. Like that's his name. They said that's his nickname. Like that could apply to like a third of the Mavericks roster. I will also say, and I'll let you talk about Josh Green, but Jaden Hardy getting 5 minutes doesn't make any fucking sense. Play Jaden Hardy. What are we doing?
Yeah, Frank had a horrible game. I mean, he somehow
Frank is a horrible basketball player.
He somehow stumbled into 6 points. But yeah, he had 2 turnovers in 12 minutes and just didn't look good. Hardy should have definitely played more. Should have played the Frank minutes. With Green, he actually started. I think he started the game 4 of 8 and had his 11 points, and then he just did not make any shots toward the end of the game. And kind of a regression game from 3, 1 of 6 from 3. Jazz left him open in the corners. He was the only guy that didn't take advantage of the Jazz's really bad defense and rotations. So, yeah, it just, the thing about Green that people are going to get mad. I'm going to bring this up, but it's not about him. But this is just another one of those games where I'm just like, man, imagine if they had Desmond Bane or Tyrese Maxey and Luka's out, and you could slide that guy into a more prominent role. And again, that's that has nothing to do with Josh Green at all. It's just more every time I want to try to not think about it, something like this happens where Luka's out and Spencer's the only guy on the team that can dribble, and it's not Josh Green's fault that Spencer's the only guy on the team that can dribble when Luka's out.
And
it's just it's hard to escape it because the Mavericks just aren't fixing the problem. So it just kind of shines the light.
I wrote in my season preview about Josh Green that if the Dallas Mavericks need him and Jaden Hardy to be good, then the season's not in a great spot. And that is true. It's okay. Maybe the Mavericks will gut it out. I think you should spill the genesis of your theory that you had the other night. If let's say Luka misses 2 or 3 games, and the Mavs fall under 500. What you had a theory the other night about what might happen?
I did.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
You basically think that the Mavericks will fall under 500. Luka will come back refreshed, and the Mavs will kick the shit out of people the rest of the season.
Yeah. Sorry. Because Luka was kind of dragging right before that ankle injury. So
looking real tired.
Yeah. So if they can, if they can just get through this stretch, I don't think he's going to be out that much longer. He was shooting before the game. So I have to imagine he's going to be back next week. So they just have to get through maybe Detroit because what's nice about the schedule is they play Detroit Monday and then they get 2 nights off, so they could theoretically play Detroit. They could win that game without Luka, and then he comes back Thursday against New Orleans. Like that's a possibility. Like if the ankle sprain is as mild as has been reported, I wouldn't. He'd basically get a week off. Like that could happen. So yeah, and maybe he looks good with a week off, because it feels like every time he gets hurt, because he's gotten hurt every single season since his rookie year. When he comes back, he looks awesome. He looks awesome. So, remember when LeBron would take like a week off?
Yes,
he played with Cleveland, and he would look incredible when he would come back. Like, I wonder if we're already at that stage with 23-year-old Luka, which is yeah, I don't know. Like, there's very bad vibe. Like, I think a lot of Mavs fans kind of feel like the season's over, but. If they can get Luka back before the road trip with Golden State and Sacramento twice and Utah and the Clippers, then let's see what happens. If he's missing those games, that's going to be really, really, really tough. But we'll see. The only other thing I want to talk about this game, maybe 2 more things, is I'm a big Dwight Powell guy. He was awful tonight.
Kessler's the kind of actual center that makes him look silly.
Kessler is like if Dwight Powell drank the Michael Jordan secret sauce, or
all are bigger, yeah, energetic,
yeah, because they are kind of like similar style players. Just Kessler has so much more skill. So that sucked, and especially like McGee doesn't play, so like holy crap! Like when you see this, it's just again, it's kind of like thinking about not drafting Bane and not drafting Maxey.
Yep.
Like, it's not Dwight's fault that the Mavericks signed freaking JaVale McGee with their only free agent money. But, like, in a game like tonight, like, people probably want us to start harping about it. But it's like, good Lord. Like, imagine if the person they signed this summer could give them 15 minutes a night at least. Like, they get nothing. They got nothing out of it. Like, it's literally down the drain. Like, that money is wasted. He doesn't play. Like, it's not like he plays and he's bad. He doesn't play. Like, that contract's already in the toilet. It's unbelievable. Sorry, that just really sucks. And then the other thing is Hardaway had a horrific game, and he's kind of in a really bad place right now. He's still shooting above 35% from 3 this month, but if you look at his game log, basically since the Clippers game on January 10th, I mean, he has been below 35% from 3 in every game except for one. And I mean, he's like 1 of 7, 2 of 6, 1 of 7, 1 of 5, 2 of 7 from 3, 3 of 11 in that Lakers loss. Like, he's in a bad spot. He was missing wide open shots tonight too, so that really sucked. Like they might have been able to win that game if he went 1 of 7 from 3 and they lost by 8. I mean, he makes 3 more, that's 9 points, you win. I mean, obviously you can't call it like that, but he got the looks and he was very, very off. So that was a bummer.
Yeah, here we are. Well, all right. So you said we're going to be back on Monday for Detroit, which is true. That's a game the Mavericks should have in hand. Just gonna, like, if they lose that game, that's another one where it's just like this. If they were to lose to Detroit, the Mavericks would need to give serious consideration to just finding a reason to throw this season away. They have to start winning some of these because March becomes excessively difficult. And I know what the strength of schedule thing says, okay? But the West is too tight. Like, the reason strength of schedule soft is because the West is a mess. So it kind of hides things.
And the Mavericks are a mess. So
yeah. So it's like, okay, Luka good, Luka bad, Mavs win, Mavs lose. It's just, that's one of those to where we would be quite understandably frustrated were they to lose it. You and I will be back for that one. I think I'm writing about I'm covering that one. So we'll be back on Monday night. I'm going to go do a live show real quick. Hopefully people aren't too pissy after that one, but you never know. You got anything before we go?
No, that's it. Let's get out of here.
All right. Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe, thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.